Don't touch me! Get off of it! Get off! Get your hand off your gun!
Dude, he had his freaking hand on his gun when he was coming after me too.
He came after you too?
Yeah, because I ran up.
I gotta get the shot.
See, I can't run.
I gotta get.
Jeez,
So
man,
they
he
go
had
after me because I'm an easy catch. I can't defend myself, and they know it.
he had me like 50 feet back while they were beating the crap out of David. Well, hey, what's up, guys?
Back him off! Back him off! See, he needs to back off. Back him off.
Wow. I've got better footage too. I did have my static camera recording. Hey guys, I can't decide what to do, whether I should make the video public or keep it on private. Here's my reasoning, because I said I was gonna leave the live stream public right after I did it. They have body cams. So I said that I was going to leave it public, but then I was thinking the cops a lot of times will tell more egregious lies if they don't have our footage to look at and say, oh, you know what, the lie just isn't going to, the lie isn't going to fly with this footage that he's got. And so that was my only reasoning behind making it private, was so that they could write their lie report and then take it off of private and make it public, so that the lie report can contradict the video can contradict the lie report. So that's my only reasoning why I ever try to hold a video back or keep it private. Here's what I'm thinking now, though. They've got their own body cameras. So I'm thinking about letting it go. I mean, so you guys hear the reasoning now. At first everyone was saying, release it, release it. Now you hear the logic behind it, and everyone's saying, private, private. But they've got their own body cameras too. So what happened? All right, I'm gonna tell you I guess I'll just tell you rather than showing you. David and I were recording a traffic stop in Rockwall, Texas. We came up, and as soon as we started recording, the officer said to us, you guys are okay to record, but I need you both to stay over there. So he was trying to tell us where we can and can't stand in the public area while we're recording him. And neither one of us said anything to him, but we always record from opposite sides. So David was in front, so he went around to the other side, and I stayed on the one side. It took this cop 2 or 3 minutes to realize that David was on the other side of him. And then he tells him, hey, go back over there. You guys both have to be on the same side. You guys can't record on opposite sides of me. You can't be behind me. So David doesn't say anything this whole time. I don't think David spoke a word on this entire cop watch. And so I yelled, that's not a law. Shut up and do your job. He's calling for backup. The first backup unit arrives. It's a clown looking dude with a clown looking mustache. I could use a mustache though. He shows up and he comes to me and he says, you guys can't be on opposite sides. You have to go to the same side. And I said, that's not a lawful order. And so I'm just standing there quietly recording still. And he says, well, you had to go over there and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, look, or what? What are you going to do to me if I don't? And then he says, look, I'm just asking you to go over there. It kind of goes back and forth. And I say, are you asking or are you telling me that you're going to do something violent if I don't? Because if you're asking, I'm declining. If you're telling me you're going to do something violent to me if I don't obey you, then I'll go over to the other side. And, it goes back and forth. And finally he says, if you don't, you'll be arrested. And I said, sweet, that's all I need to hear. You're going to arrest me if I don't stand where you want me to stand in a public space while recording. So I start walking over to the other side with him. And as he starts walking me over to the other side, another backup unit arrives. And as we're walking over to the other side, David is looping back around the other side. And this guy, I mean, he had a bad ego. You'll see it from the moment he arrived. He was pissed off that I even asked for his name. So David starts walking over to the other side, and this guy loses it. And he starts walking over to David and starts trying to tell David, no, you have to be on the same side. He reaches out to grab at David. And then David pulls back, as someone would naturally do if a thug tries to grab at you while you're recording a traffic stop. He keeps going after David. David turns and runs. All three of the cops, including the one who was on the traffic stop, drop what they're doing. One of them was talking to me. One of them was on the traffic stop. One of them was grabbing at David. Before he ever grabbed David and took him, I was talking to one of the other cops who was the only one who was chill and mellow there. And I was telling him, you need to get him off of him. You need to back him off. You need to back him off. This guy is irate. And me and that other cop were about to walk over there to get this tyrant cop to stop. We were on our way walking over there to get him to chill out. And then he grabs at David. And so then David turns to run. And then all three of the cops run and tackle him. The cop left his traffic stop to go help tackle somebody that was recording the traffic stop. Thank you, Dutch Treat. He left his traffic stop. So I chased them too with the camera. And they're all on top of him. I say, hey, get off of him. What are you doing? The initial cop, who was a sissy, who was the initial cop on the traffic stop, starts coming at me, voice just shaking, just scared to death like a little coward. Back up! Back up! And starts reaching for his gun. So I'm back, he backs me up about 50 feet or more away from them arresting David. But I was still close enough, I don't know if I picked it up on the camera, but I was close enough to hear the officer who had grabbed him saying, I was saying, why are you tackling? Why are you arresting him? And he said, for flanking us. Because you flanked us. In other words, because you stood somewhere that we didn't want you to stand. There's no law behind that. It's not interference. It's not obstruction. Interference and obstruction is a physical thing. It's when maybe the cop needs to walk from his car to the suspect's car. And I'm standing in between him and blocking him and say, no, you're not going to his car. You're not going to his car. Or he's trying to pat him down and I'm getting in between him and saying, no, you're not going to pat him down. You're not going to pat him down. That's interference. That's obstruction. We've had multiple rulings just recently over the last few months in multiple different circuit courts on specifically on people recording the police, that no, it's not interference and it's not obstruction to be recording, even from 5-10 feet away. I'm sure that, each scenario, how close you can or can't be is going to be dependent on the particular scenario. So they're all going to be different. But consistently, these cops are losing this fight because, especially when we're standing there totally silent, just recording. Now, here's the good thing about this. David never said anything. David never spoke. He didn't, a lot of times when they start barking stupid orders, David will cuss at him and yell at him. He didn't say a word. They tried to do stupid things. They tried to say stupid things. David just tried to move his camera to where he could get the shot that he needed to get. So they arrested him. They wouldn't tell me what the charges are. The only thing that he could say is he was flanking. So let me grab a card. I asked for the supervisor. I actually asked for the supervisor before the tackling happened, before the escalation happened. I immediately asked for the supervisor when the second backup unit showed up, because I could tell that first guy was really wanting to escalate. From the moment he arrived on scene, he was really wanting to escalate things. And so I was asking for the supervisor already. The supervisor had already been called before this clown chased after David. Now, by the time the supervisor got there, which is going to be Sergeant O'Brien, female police officer, sergeant. That's backwards, I'm sure. By the time she arrived, I asked her, I'm thinking, okay, they're not stupid enough to arrest him. They're going to say, oh, he's detained for officer safety, right? Because there's no law against anything that he's done. And so surely he's just detained for officer safety. No, they actually are booking him. They're taking him in. And so I asked Sergeant O'Brien, what are the charges? She doesn't know. The guy who was arresting him, he doesn't know. So they're on their way to jail, and they don't even know what the charges are going to be. They don't know what they're going to book him on. And so I said to Sergeant O'Brien, I said, Sergeant, why don't you put a stop to this right now? Why don't you find out what happened and prevent an unlawful arrest right here and now? And she says, oh no, I have faith in my officers. I have faith that he knows what he's doing. I have faith in my officers. Well, I'll tell you what, Sergeant O'Brien, that faith is extremely misplaced, especially in that particular officer. Let me get you the name of the officer that arrested him.
Backup's got a hell of a mustache.
Listen, man. Go over there with him on that side.
Here, I'll show you part of this. So you can get the officer's name. He said go over there with him on that side. Here, let me... I forgot it's a 5-second rewind, not a 10 on this device. Okay, so David is right there. And I'm, well, you see where I'm at. Here's the first backup unit that arrives. Let me make sure the volume's all the way up.
Listen, man. Go over there with him on that side. Sir. They've already climbed that. I need you both on the same side, okay?
Is that a lawful order?
Yes, because I have to be able to watch you both.
That's not a law.
I need you over there.
What's your
on
name?
that side.
What's your name?
Sir?
What's your name?
Sir?
What are you going to do to me if I don't?
Sir?
What?
Will you please walk to that side for me?
Voluntarily? No. If you're telling me you're going to do something violent to me if I don't, then sure, I'll comply with whatever you tell me
I
to do.
just need you at a safe distance so I can keep eyes on both of you.
Okay. If you're telling me that you're going to do something violent if I don't do... Sorry, I've got bad signal here. Here, we'll watch in lower quality, because really the audio is all that... If you're saying, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm going to continue what I'm doing. So what's...
I'm telling you, I just need you guys both over on that side.
You need or want?
I need you.
Okay, and so if I
I
don't...
can control
All right, I'm going to set it to lower qualities.
where you are if you're going to be this close to my partner.
And so, if I don't... Let me go back so there's no cuts in the audio. I don't like the cuts. Violent, if I don't do what you're saying, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm going to continue what I'm doing. So what's...
I'm telling you, I just need you guys both over on that side.
You need or want?
I need you.
Okay, and so if I
I
don't...
can control where you are if you're going to be this close to my partner.
And so, if I don't do what you tell me to do, what are you going to
You
do?
can go to jail for interference.
Okay, I will or I can?
You can. I'm giving you the opportunity. I don't want to put you in
Okay,
jail.
but if I don't move, you're going to take me to jail?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your name is?
Hartman.
Hartman, and your badge number?
987.
Okay, and so if... Hartman 987, Hartman 987, Rockwall Police Department. Hartman 987, Rockwall Police Department. Rockwall Police Department. Hold on. Whoops. There we go.
Rockwall Police Department. Here you go.
I'm 366 feet away. The contact info for Rockwall Police Department, Hartman, Officer Hartman, 972-771-7717. 972-771-7717. Officer Hartman. Clown Stash, Officer Hartman. If you don't move over there, I will arrest you. Because if you're going to be this close to my officer, I have the right to control where you're going to be. What a joke. Do you think he actually believed the words that he said? if you're not going to allow me to record.
I am allowing you to record over there at that side. So
And
I
if I
can keep an eye on you.
And if I don't move over there, you're going to take me to jail.
Go ahead.
That's a yes or a no?
I already told you the answer to that.
How's it going? Are you the supervisor?
No, sir.
Okay. Can we get the supervisor out here? Okay. I said, okay, can we get the supervisor? Now I'm coming over to this side, and David starts looping over to the other side, and you hear him say, hey, over here. Huh? Yeah, please, immediately. I appreciate it. And if we can get him called off immediately as well. If somebody wanted to hurt your officers, they'd be hurt. Okay. Look. So I can tell that this guy wants to escalate as fast as he can. And the guy that I'm talking to is a lot more level-headed and cool-headed. All right? I can tell that this guy wants to escalate. David is walking over to the other side. He doesn't know that this guy is a loose cannon already. David Boren. He doesn't already know that this guy's a loose cannon because he hasn't interacted with him yet. And so he's thinking, well, it's really not a big deal. I'm walking around the car. I'm still at a safe distance. I appreciate it. Thank you. We got Goff here calling for the supervisor. See, he needs to back off. Back him off. Back him off. Back him off. At that point, he starts getting aggressive, trying to grab at David. I'm telling him, you know, off. Instead of backing him off, now you've got the officer that I was talking to. Instead of going to pull his officer off, he's going to help tackle David, and the guy who was on the traffic stop is now going over there. Guys, get off of him. Don't touch me. Get off of him. Get back. Get off. Get your hand. So this guy, you can hear how scared he is in his voice. This guy shouldn't be a cop. This is the guy on the initial stop. Listen to the way he's yelling, get back, and then grabs his gun. Guys, get off of him. Don't touch me. Get off of him. Right hand, boom. Get your hand off your gun. There it is. On the gun. God, you're an idiot. I'm not going near him. I got to get the shot. I've got to get the shot. Now, I'm way too far away to be recording what's going on here. Way too far away. I should be at least 20 feet closer to that. Don't prevent me from videoing what they're doing to him. A lot of cameras are going. You have to stay back. I'm back. A lot of cameras are going. You have to stay back. They still think that we don't have a right to record them. They still think that. We have cameras. We don't need your cameras. Okay, well, we can't ever get your cameras. You're out of control, bro. You guys are out of control. You guys are freaking idiots. Rockwall Police Department. You're a freaking idiot, dude. You're an idiot. You guys are morons. He's saying you cannot flank us. You're not allowed to do that. You cannot flank us. In other words, they are... So he said it. I don't know if I'm going to go back. I don't know if you can hear it. And I'll check on the Canon camera also, whether I can actually hear him saying it. But that's why they tackled him. Because you cannot flank us. Idiot! You guys are morons! He's saying you cannot flank us. You're not allowed to do that. You cannot flank us. In other words, they are arresting him for being behind him. He's arresting him for being behind him or detaining him. Hey, we got the supervisor rolling, right? All right, thank you, sir. Stop. Nobody's going to touch you. If we wanted to hurt you, you'd never see us. You freaking idiot. If someone was going to hurt you, you'd never fucking see them. You would just drop. This whole officer, K9 boss. This whole officer safety thing is... Can I stand with you? Can I stand with you? This guy on the traffic stop is still trying to threaten me to stay back. The K9 officer is the only level-headed person. I figure if I can stand next to him, at least his buddies won't attack me. Maybe. All right. Yeah. I'm not going to hurt anybody. Nobody is. Can we get him out of cuffs immediately, please? No, right now, man. You know that it's not illegal for him to be behind anybody. Well, this is out of control, dude. Is this supervisor? No, it's supervisor. All right. Her way. This guy, man, where's this de-escalation, man? He came out to escalate. There's two of us, man.
Well, the thing is when y'all are moving around on both sides of him, it distracts. You know, he's not able to effectively, safely.
I disagree.
And so does the court.
And there's no law that we can't do that.
Well,
And
there's, whenever you constantly force him to divert his attention away from the duties he's performing, then, like I said, I don't know what happened before I got here.
Do you realize how many times this has played out in court and been ruled on that a cameraman recording is not a reasonable thing that you can say diverts you from what you're supposed to be doing?
Whenever you're so close, and like he says, he feels like you're flanking him.
Dude, this is. I know you're trying to be decent. I get it.
I wasn't here. I don't know what happened.
But if you
before
were-
I got here.
So he doesn't know what happened. He's trying to be decent, but he cannot cross the blue line either, right? I think this guy knows damn well that what just happened was wrong. I believe he knows it, but he cannot cross the blue line. Even if he were a good person, and even if he were a good cop, if that exists, his career will end if he does the right thing. If he does the right thing, his career will end. Now, I don't know, maybe he's just playing good cop, bad cop. But, I mean, by his chill, relaxed demeanor the whole time, I think he actually genuinely realizes, like, this is bullshit. He's not going to say it. There's no way he's going to say it. He has to back the blue. He has to hold that blue line.
But really, we need to get this guy out of cuffs, and we need to get the animal. Dude, you ran after him, you chased him and tackled him
All I saw
for having a camera.
We were talking.
Well, if somebody were trying to attack me, I'd run too. Can we get him? Dude, this is ridiculous. He shouldn't be near my buddy, man. If somebody wanted to hurt your officers, do you realize how? I mean, I could hit him. I wouldn't, but just saying, minimum 200 yards, right?
Well, you're talking about like taking a shot.
This isn't a safety issue, is
But-
what I'm
but
saying.
Here's the deal: is I mean, you know, are you familiar with Force Science Institute at all?
With what?
Force Science Institute.
I don't think so. No.
Well, I mean, it's real. They do. Everything is based on, you know, it's literally science as far as things like what's the effective kill range of someone with a knife.
Right. And 21 feet is
That's actually been upped. It's around 28 feet.
okay. But that doesn't change the fact that it's still legal and lawful for us to be recording within a distance that we can pick up both video and audio of what you guys are doing.
But what I'm saying is, you know, 30 feet is you are still able to advance on an officer, and that's what an officer already focused on. You know what I'm saying?
But that doesn't make it illegal for me to do it.
No, it's
And so-
legal for you to film.
And it's even completely legal to film from that distance.
Well, I mean, again,
We've got to be able to be close enough to pick up both video and audio of what's actually going on.
without interfering.
And interference is a physical thing.
Again, but I wasn't here. I don't know what happened, you know, before I got here. I can't.
Nothing.
I can't talk about
Nothing.
that, so.
He was on that side when you pulled up. He was on that side. I was on that side. The reason we do that is because sometimes they'll walk to both sides of the vehicle to try to avoid being recorded. So we have somebody on both sides so that whichever side you go to, our only goal is to record. Nobody said anything to him. He decided that he didn't want us on either side of him. Okay, that's fine. If that's what he wants, that's too bad though, right? So he has a second person come out. Well, now he should be more comfortable. You can watch him, he watches me, if that's what you feel you need to do. The problem is you don't even need to watch us. Again, if we wanted to hurt him, he didn't even see us pull up, right? He didn't even know we were here. If we wanted to hurt him, I'm not saying we would, but if we wanted to hurt him, he'd be hurt, right? So, I mean, any of us, right? If somebody wants to hurt me, if somebody wants to kill me right now, I'm dead, right? Same with you.
Be ambushed, yeah.
Same with you, same with him, same with me. If somebody wants to hurt you, they're not going to come up and be in plain sight pointing a camera at you from 20 feet away, right? I mean, that doesn't make any logical sense, does it?
Does a lot of things that happen in this world make logical sense these days?
Buying toilet paper for COVID-19? No. A lot of things don't make logical sense. We got the he's not taking him in, is he?
I'm not sure what's
He better be temporarily detained for officer safety, not arrested.
I do have a supervisor on the way.
Okay.
To you, okay?
All right.
Let's try to get to where the supervisor came.
Yeah.
I've been traveling, dude.
Yeah?
Try and get to where the supervisor came. Oh, here. We'll watch this part where I... Hey, can I get your name, man? Stuart. All right, thanks. Just try and get everybody... And you weren't here when he was tackled and...
No, I just pulled up.
Okay.
He was already in handcuffs.
All right. Are you still scared? Are you? Are you still scared? Quit acting like a bitch, all right? You're a grown-ass man. You are a grown man. Start acting like it, all right? Your mother ought to slap the shit out of you. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Good? Stock up on toilet paper? I'm just kidding, me neither. Is this the supervisor? Supervisor or no? All right. So the supervisor always goes and talks to her officer first. That's how they always do it. Supervisor.
Thanks, have a good night.
Supervisor arrives. They go and talk to the officer first. Get his bullshit story and then come talk to the other person. They really don't even care to talk to me though. They don't care.
Hey, thanks, man. Have a good night. You, go sit in timeout. Quit acting like a scared little biatch. Are you ashamed of yourself? You should be. Not as ashamed as this guy, though. This guy should be really ashamed of himself. You're not the clown that tackled him, but you're the guy that called the clown that tackled him. You gonna let him arrest him?
Yes.
What's the charge?
I don't know. I wasn't here, so
Okay,
I'm
can
not
we
sure.
ask him what the charge is?
I'll get that from him.
So we're arresting him, we don't even know what the charge is yet.
He does. Why not? I just showed up.
You're the supervisor. You're not going to make sure there's no unlawful arrest by saying, hey, what's the charge?
I believe in my guys and I trust them.
Really?
Yep. Do you have a complaint about?
Oh, I mean, you know I'm not going to actually file it with the department. I file it with the public.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
and then...
Well, then our business is done here. So
Okay.
We're gonna get out of here.
What's your name?
Sergeant O'Brien.
Sergeant O'Brien? Yeah, I'll take that. And you're going to let him, your boy take him to jail? And you understand that for officers...
I have 100% confidence there, Billy.
Okay, you understand that officers are becoming less and less safe because of stuff like this, right? Okay.
Have a good day.
All right. All right.
So obviously she couldn't care less. I told her, you realize that officers are becoming less and less safe. They're all worried about officer safety, right? Man, I can't think of anything that makes officers less safe than doing this in front of people, to the public. So Rockwall Police Department is 972-771-7717. Here, I'm going to throw it in the chat. You know what? I can't chat while I'm live. 972-771-7717. That's the Rockwall Police Department. And they actually took him in and booked him. Right now we are... Well, you guys want to go see where we're at right now? And then we'll come back and we'll watch the video again. We're at the Rockwall Police Department right now. We've got John out here. John...
The old man, Yachtline News.
Yachtline News. The old man. So we're at the Rockwall Police Department. David is not here. He is at Rockwall County Jail. That's where I was told they took him to book him. But I'd rather come here to find out what the charges are. So a long time ago, they put this like mesh thing up so that you can't see back there very well. I think they've got the lights off back there because I've been able to see through it before. This is how disgusting this department is too. This is the Blue Line Shrine. This is what I call the Blue Line Shrine. Psalms 144:1. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hand for war and my fingers for battle. I don't know who they're at war with. And that actually is a desecrated flag. People talk about, I'm tired of people actually saying that the Blue Line flag is a desecrated US flag, because it's not.
Gang flag.
It's its own flag. It's not an American flag with a blue line on it. It's its own flag. Now, to take an American flag and throw a blue line on it, that's a little different. And even this technically isn't a desecrated flag because it's a picture of a flag. It's not actually a flag. So even still under, master's legislation and the flag code, that's still not a desecrated flag, but even a little more disgusting than the regular Blue Line flag. But look at that. Using these scriptures to, blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hand for war and my fingers for battle. Who the hell are they at war with? Who are they at war with? Police officer's prayer. So, this is a disgusting shrine in the ROCKWALL Police Department. And the local citizens love it. They love it. So when a lot of people are upset that people will sue these police departments and it's the taxpayer that pays it, ROCKWALL needs to be sued a lot. Honestly, they've got a ton of money. It's not going to hurt them. They could settle 1,000 multi-million-dollar lawsuits. It's really not going to hurt ROCKWALL. When I start my tour of duty, God, wherever crime may be, as I walk the darkened streets alone, let me be close to thee. Give me understanding with both the young and old. Understanding, that would be something, wouldn't it? Let me listen with attention until their story's told. Let me never make a judgment in a rash or callous way, but let me hold my patience, let each man have his say. Lord, if some dark and dreary night I must give my life, Lord, with your everlasting love, protect my children and my wife. All right, here we go. Romans 13:4. For he is God's servant to do you good. But if you do wrong, be afraid. For he does not bear the sword for nothing. He is God's servant, an agent of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. These people think that they're God's angels out there beating the crap out of people and abusing people. They think they're doing God's work. Cult propaganda. Yeah, this is sick. This is really, really, really sick.
No complaint forms, all commendation forms.
Be strong and courageous, do not fear, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you. Deuteronomy 3:6. And this is the most disgusting shrine I've seen yet. Let me see if they can tell us what the charges are yet. Ring bell for service.
Why are there no complaint forms? Half-inch thick of personal commendation forms.
Personal commendation forms, lots of them. No complaint forms. Probably because they go through so many, they can't keep them restocked. Hey, actually, for those of you who can't find toilet paper at the store, we've got police personal commendation forms and blue line flags. I should ask him for a blue line flag. Yeah, do you know what the charges are yet on the cameraman who was arrested earlier?
No, sir, I don't have any idea what the charges are. The jail might have that information.
All right, can you get it for me?
No, sir, we're busy taking emergency calls at the moment.
I don't think you are. Emergency calls like emergency cameramen, or is that the kind of calls you're taking?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you guys normally arrest people for recording you, or
Not that I know of.
no? Okay. Is flanking the police a violation of law?
Honestly, I do not know. I'm not an officer.
Okay. Oh, well, I apologize. Who are you? I can't see through here. It's all secretive and.
Right. I'm a dispatcher here.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up your time. Can you get an officer, or probably better yet, maybe a sergeant or lieutenant to let us know what's going on?
Okay. I will get one in here.
Okay. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Idiot Bill says the arrest info is online now. I believe you. I just want them to give it to me. Thanks, Jersey. And I know where the county jail is. I know how to get there. I just want them to tell me. I appreciate you for letting me know that, though. I did not actually expect that to be online that quick. David Bourne charges interfere with public duties, resist arrest, search in transport, evading arrest. Okay, interfere with public duties and resisting arrest or search. There we go. Interfering with duties. And I don't know how many times the court has to rule that us recording is not interfering with duties. What's up, guys?
Live streaming, baby. David Teague.
David, good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Holy crap. I watch your videos all the time.
Yeah,
Sweet.
And we were, hey, there's live stream. We gotta go.
You guys live up here in Rockwall?
Yeah.
Good.
We're right over there behind the.
Well, I'm live. Be careful. Yeah, don't get too specific.
Okay. By the Christian thing. I was like, hey.
Kurdish Christian school.
No, where y'all were at just 15 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's rough out here, man, because Rockwall really backs their blue.
Uh-huh.
And no matter what. And I don't know. I mean, some of them are starting to figure it out, because I live and work in the area. Well, I live on the road now, but I've worked in the area for a long time. And
Yeah, I've watched all your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
Sweet.
very
We
familiar
watch you
with,
all the time.
I'm very familiar with who you are. So.
right on.
And I got him watching the videos a couple months ago. And I was just sitting there, now just watching. It's like, I flipped it on. Hey,
Can't believe you came to walk.
we gotta go up there.
This is where I kind of started at.
Seriously?
Yeah, one of the first videos I ever did was a Rockwall County sheriff, and it was never uploaded to my YouTube. I didn't have a YouTube channel back then. He passed me doing over 100 miles an hour on the freeway, about 90 to 100,
Nice.
on I-30, right before the bridge, headed towards Rowlett.
Oh, okay.
And so I followed him. And I called 911 while I was following him. Said, hey, I got a reckless driver on the freeway. He's speeding, tailgating, weaving in and out of traffic. All true. And they asked for a description of the vehicle. When I started describing it, they're like, well, that's a police car. I said, well, I don't think it's a cop, though, because a cop wouldn't be this reckless. So it's probably a stolen police car. You need to get someone out here.
Right.
So shortly after that, you can tell that he got the call, because he starts driving even more erratically. He gets off at Dow Rock. He passes people on the shoulder on the Dow Rock exit, pulls into the gas station, hides behind a gas pump. I'm a good distance behind him now, but I saw him pull in there. I pull in right behind him, and as soon as he sees me pulling behind him, he does a burnout, pulls out of the parking lot onto Dow Rock, turning right, right in front of traffic. And it was a whole flood of traffic. So he got out right in front of him, and I wasn't able to. I went and talked to his supervisor up at Rockwall County and said, hey, this is out of control. If one of us did that, we'd get a ticket at the very least. I said, is he going to get a ticket? He said, no, but he was on his way to a call. So he should have had lights and sirens on, but he didn't. So back then I wasn't so lazy too. And so I went and did an open records request right there at Rockwall and in Rowlett and at Rockwall County or City to see what calls there were during that time. There wasn't one within an hour, not even one.
Oh,
So I went back and
he was
said,
blatantly.
yeah, I went back and said, hey, which call was he on his way to? Because this all says there were 0 calls. He says, oh, well, I must have been mistaken. And I told him, this is why people don't trust you guys.
Absolutely.
Because we all make mistakes. We all do things we shouldn't do. The only difference between you and us is that we're accountable and you're not.
Right.
And that's the problem. It's not that you guys are, I don't expect you to be perfect. I don't expect you to be gods or something.
Right.
I expect you to pay for your wrongdoing.
So they arrested
David.
David.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
No,
Well, we had just literally.
he runs in my room and goes, David Warren's been arrested. And I was like, what?
I mean, we lived close enough that we could throw a rock and hit you.
Okay.
So if that gives you an idea of where we live. So,
Right on.
Yeah. I said, we're going. We're doing it. We're gonna.
Sweet.
We hightailed over here.
Yeah, we did. We had a dog in the car and everything.
Well, I'm trying to get them to come out now and tell me what the charges are because they said it was flanking.
Yeah, I heard, and that's not a law, is it?
No. And the charges are in the computer now, I guess, in Rockwall County. It's interference and obstruction, or interference and resisting arrest. But recording the police is not interfering. Interference or obstruction.
Property, right?
Huh?
Public property, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, it was private property, but it was publicly accessible, and we weren't asked to leave. So, the worst they could do is try to get him trespassed by the owner, which is not them.
Yeah.
And at that,
the
right.
owner has to trespass you off
Right.
the property, not the police.
Right. So the police can't even ask you to leave they can, but if the owner were to come out, but it wasn't open. The business wasn't open. They weren't going to come and tell us to leave.
I walk up there with the dog all the time.
Yeah.
Went through the parking lot and knew exactly where it was at. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
How long does this usually take you to do?
I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. It's what we're dealing with is chaos. People are like, oh, well, without police and without law and government, we'd have chaos. I'm like, what the do you think this is? Chaos is unpredictability, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that, and what people want or say they want is consistency, some type of law and order to where if you do this, this will happen.
Right.
If you do that, that will happen. Well, that's not what we have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you don't interfere with the police, you don't get arrested. But he just didn't interfere with the police and got arrested for interfering with the police. So
I've been following him just as long as I've been following you. So, and I love listening to him talk about circular conversations, and
I've known David since way before either one of us started doing YouTube also.
not really.
So he's like the one person that I really care about what happens to him, and like we were filming that felony stop in Richardson last Saturday night,
Mm-hmm.
and the cops were yelling at him for getting too close. I'm like, dang it, David, get back. I don't want to see him get arrested.
I watched the video of yours, and you had your daughter with you, and she was holding the camera.
Yeah.
That was greatness.
Yeah, both of my kids have done.
Yeah. I've seen it.
I'm starting to realize though, these people are so dangerous. My kids are asking all the time, can we go with? I'm like, no, these guys are really dangerous.
Yeah.
They're highly unpredictable and.
All right, we'll stop. I got to put the back here so fast. I'm getting old. Hang on.
I wonder if they're sending someone out.
Probably.
I hope David gets before a magistrate too, so that hopefully they can just throw the charges out before he gets out of jail. Because that's what should happen. You can't call recording the police interference. I mean, you can if you're a cop. You can do whatever you want. You're a sovereign citizen. But if you're obeying the law, you can't do that.
Penal code is very clear the way it's written.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything, and in the penal code it says, that you can't be verbal, cannot be interference.
Right. So you can sit there and talk too.
It has to be something physical.
Yeah. So you can sit there too and just run your mouth. Hey man, why are you robbing this guy? He did none of that. All he did is record. I mean, it is such an easy cut and dry case, and these guys wonder, I mean, for officer safety, they should stop doing this in my opinion. They always talk about officer safety and then they make people hate them. Like, why do you think those 5 officers got picked off in Dallas in 2016? Do you think it's because they were nice to people? I doubt it was because they were helping people by, arresting people committing property crimes, and I bet it was because they were screwing with people.
It's a very large divide among the citizens and the police. Started on September the 12th, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Patriot Act just made it explode out.
I wonder how many people have touched David, though, because I think he was coming down with some kind of flu symptoms. When I picked him up, he was saying he was coming down with something and he wasn't sure if he wanted to go or not. So I don't know what that is, but Clash with Bal says David should have screamed, "Help me, James, help me." He should have. He didn't say anything, though. He was silent. So running from the cop is running from someone who's trying to unlawfully put hands on you is not a crime. Not only that, but depending on the state that you're in, the legislation even allows you to defend yourself.
Texas Penal Code, I think it's 9.03. You can defend yourself against harm.
Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you?
You didn't want to talk to me much when we were out there.
And I don't really have much to say, though.
That's outrageous.
So,
you know better.
No. We don't discuss ongoing cases.
Okay.
I want to discuss somebody else's charges. He's an adult.
Uh-huh.
You're not a legal guardian of him.
How do you know that?
Okay.
Okay, so I did see that the charges came in.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got interference and resisting arrest. Are you aware of anything that happened?
I am not.
Okay, can we get you aware of what happened? See,
I would be happy to listen to what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to discuss anything with you.
Okay.
If you want to vent to me and tell me what that you have to say, absolutely 100% I will listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I will not discuss, argue, or talk to you about the case at all.
Okay, I guess I'll just tell you this then. I think that you can prevent unlawful arrest by actually overseeing your officers. Okay, they make mistakes. They're human. I was just talking about with them in the audience. The first video that I ever did was with ROCKWALL Sheriff doing about 90 to 100 on the freeway. I've seen a lot of people do that. It's not a big deal. But you know what? Citizens are held accountable. Police don't seem to be, right? So is it ever possible that your officers could ever make a mistake being human?
Absolutely.
Of course. Mm-hmm. That's not my problem. My problem is that he made a mistake and nobody was there today to look at things and say, okay, what happened here? And just say, you know what? You messed up, dude. Let him go. And it's over, right? Instead, you guys keep on pushing it. You're going to try and stick bogus, well, not you, but him, whoever did it, is going to try and stick bogus charges on him. If you look at the situation, you see what actually happened. I don't know you personally, so I don't know where your head's at, but I think you would see that it was wrong.
Okay. And again, I'm not going to discuss the case with you. So that's where we are.
Okay. Let me ask you this then. From now on, when we're out there recording your officers, are we going to continue to get arrested if we're on opposite sides of them?
If that you interfere with our traffic stops, yes.
Okay, I'm not talking about interfering, because interfering is a physical thing where you're trying to get from your car to his car and I block your way. Mm-mm. Yeah, it's a physical thing. It's not whatever, if your feelings get hurt, that's not interfering. If you don't like the camera, that's not interfering. Does that make sense?
Fair enough.
Okay, can you explain to me how the statute reads on interference?
Because we don't give out legal advice here.
Well, I'm not asking for legal advice. I'm asking you if you can tell me how the statute reads on interference.
Again, I'm not going to answer that question because we do not provide legal advice.
That's not legal advice. Legal advice would be telling me, I think that you should act like this because...
No, you're asking me for an interpretation of the law.
No. I'm asking for the literal, how it literally reads. I'm not asking you for your interpretation.
Again, not going to answer that question.
How could you possibly know if you were properly arresting people if you don't even know what it reads?
I'm not saying I don't know what it reads. I said I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay. I don't think you know what it reads.
Okay.
Do you?
I'm again not going to answer that question.
Okay. That probably best to plead the fifth, right?
No.
Okay.
Anyways, anything else I can do for you?
No, you guys are getting out of control. What do you expect the people to do then when you guys act like this? What do you think they should do?
I'm not going to have this discussion with you.
What do you think they should do?
Can't tell you that.
Should they just keep obeying you and letting the boot be put on their throat, or?
Again, not going to answer that question.
Okay. Do you feel sad when officers like those 5 officers in Dallas get shot and killed? Does that make you sad?
We're not going to have any kind of discussion about my personal opinions or feelings or professional opinions. Not tonight.
May
I'm
I
not
read
the person for
something
that.
to you? Texas Penal Code 38.15, interference with public duties. A person commits an offense if the person with criminal negligence interrupts, disrupts, impedes, or otherwise interferes with 1, a peace officer while a peace officer is performing a duty or exercising authority imposed or granted by law. 2, a person who is employed to provide emergency medical services, including the transportation of ill or injured persons while the person is performing that duty. 3, a firefighter while the firefighter is fighting a fire, investigating the fire, cause of the fire. 4, an animal under supervision of a peace officer, corrections officer, or jailer, if the person knows the animal is being used for law enforcement, corrections, prison or jail security, or investigative purposes. 5, transmission of a communication over a citizen's band radio channel, the purpose of which communication is to inform or inquire about an emergency. 6, an officer with responsibility for animal control in a county or municipality while the officer is performing a duty or exercising authority imposed or granted by Chapter 821 or 822 of the Health and Safety Code. Or 7, a person who A, has responsibility for assessing, enacting, or enforcing public health, environmental, radiation, or safety measures for the state or a county municipality. B, is investigating a particular site as part of the person's responsibility under paragraph A. C, is acting in accordance with policies and procedures related to the safety and security of the site described by paragraph B. And D, is performing a duty or exercising authority imposed or granted under the Agriculture Code, Health and Safety Code, Occupational Code, or Water Code. B, an offense under this section is a Class B misdemeanor. C, it's a defense to prosecution under subsection A1 that's conduct engaged in by the defendant was intended to warn a person operating a motor vehicle of the presence of a peace officer who was enforcing subtitle C, Chapter 7 Transportation Code. D, it is a defense to prosecution under this section that the interruption, disruption, impediment, or interference alleged consisted only of speech. D1, except as provided by subsection D2 and as prosecution for an offense under subsection A1, there is a rebuttal presumption that the actor interferes with a peace officer if it is shown on trial that the actor intentionally disseminated the home address, home telephone number, emergency contact information, or social security number of the officer or a family member of the officer, or any other information that's specifically described in section 552.117A Government Code. D2, presumption of subsection D1 does not apply to information disseminated by and it goes into radio, television, newspapers, section emergency means, and then added.
Do you understand what was just read?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so there wasn't even anything said. There was nothing physically done. The man was 30 foot away.
And the statute specifically says that nothing related to free speech can be considered interference.
Listen, we're not going to discuss this.
Right.
Okay.
I know. And that's the problem, is that we are at a point where police don't want to discuss anything. You're going to lay your heavy hand on people. You're going to assault. You're going to kidnap. You're going to extort. And what do you think the people should do when we can't communicate with you?
We're not going to have this discussion.
Okay.
I already explained to you. I'm not going to.
Do you realize how dangerous it becomes when we stop having a discussion?
No, I'm the wrong person to have that discussion.
Really? You were there. You're over the man who assaulted
Absolutely,
and
I am.
kidnapped somebody. It's your job to get him under control.
There was a law that was broken.
No, there was
And
not.
there was enforcement action taken.
There was not.
Okay. we're going to disagree on that
So,
one.
okay, so you're saying that if we record your officers from places that they don't want us to record them from, then that's going to be interference?
From a safe distance.
Again,
But-
not gonna discuss this with you.
It's a yes or a no because we need to know what you're going to do to us the next time.
We just don't want to be.
We need to know.
If the,
I'm 78 years old, and police have beat me up 3 times severely. I'm disabled before they even did that. So I just want to know what would happen. I don't want to get beat up again. I don't want to be injured.
Safest thing is probably just not to record you,
I would
right?
just like to know whether or not your police officers are going to take violence against me or anybody else for recording from a safe distance. One district federal court said that 10 foot sufficient. We try to stand back 30 foot. You know, we're not trying to get there and measure feet. We're trying to stay back a reasonable distance. What we're trying to do is to record video and audio. And the case law and the Supreme Court says that we can do that. You know, we're not interfering. It's if an officer is so afraid of 2 people with cameras, or in my case, 1 person with a camera, then they need to not be a police officer. They need to go to Wendy's or McDonald's or something. They're safe there. That is not
I think
a
you're
weapon.
winning. I think you're winning. I think we're losing and you're winning.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you are willing to use any amount of violence against us to get us to stop keeping you accountable. And we, on the other hand, at least me personally, I'm not willing to return the violence against you. But you know what? I think there's a lot of people who see what you're doing who may be different than me. Does that make sense? What are we supposed to do when there's no dialogue and when you refuse to obey the law? What's left?
again, I'm not the person to answer questions.
You are.
I'm
You're
not.
personally accountable for your own actions and those that you're supposed to be overseeing.
And I'm 100% responsible for my guys.
Okay.
And
you're okay with him arresting somebody for recording an officer with one person
I am
on
okay with
either side of
the
him?
arrest that he made tonight.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And is it because we were on opposite sides of him?
I'm not going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you I am okay with that arrest.
Well, that's a problem.
With the information that I have,
Mhm.
I am okay with that arrest.
Okay, tell us the information you have.
No, I cannot tell you
Do
that.
you understand?
Why?
Officers
You can
lie.
do
I'll-
the Freedom of Information Act.
Show me yours, I'll show you mine.
There's no
So-
You tell me the
freedom of
information you've got, I'll tell you the information I've got. We can review the video together. What do you want to do?
We're not going to do that.
That would be too transparent, wouldn't it?
Because I don't have the authority to do that.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
You have more authority than you pretend you do. You're a human being. Are you human?
So, look, we're not going to have this. Yes, I'm human.
Okay.
I have no problem with the arrest that was made tonight.
If you're human, then you
So-
have the right to do the right thing.
Okay.
If you've given your ability to control yourself to somebody else, then I don't think you're human anymore. Okay? What makes you human is your ability and your right to make your own decisions.
Do you
So you're
guys have any other questions? This is not going anywhere. I have other things I've got.
That's what I'm trying to tell you is it's
So-
scary that it's not going anywhere because you realize where it goes after that, right? We've seen it happen. I won't be part of it. Don't get me wrong. I'll be running, okay? I'll be in the hills. You realize where it's going.
So, again,
Okay.
I understand,
I tried, O'Brien. I've been trying for years.
and I can understand that. I mean, I just, tonight, I'm not the right person to answer these questions because I'm not going to.
I believe you could have stopped
So-
this out there on the scene.
With the information that I have, this is a good arrest.
You should have gotten more information on the scene.
So,
I think that you intentionally refused. You only got one side of a story, and you refused to
actually,
get further
I
information.
spoke to Mr. Bourne first
Do you have
before I
a-
spoke to my officers.
Okay.
So,
Do you have
Okay.
a card I can have?
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I tried, O'Brien. I've been trying.
You have a blessed day.
You too. Have a good day.
Hey, I think he might have been coming down with some kind of virus when you arrested him. I'm not sure, but I think.
Okay, seeing
I-
that firsthand, that's embarrassing.
But this is why I don't even have the conversations anymore. This is why I don't file complaints anymore. You know, people are like, James, you're not getting anything done. I mean, look at all of the case law that's been won that says that we can do what we're doing. When you're dealing with people who don't care what the law is, why should it matter to you what the law is?
I agree. I'm a first timer here, and
I've watched you for a long time. I can't believe it went down that way. I watched it. I mean, I could have thrown a rock and hit you guys. And when they started shooting bullets, my kid was in his room. They
Yeah.
shooting their guns.
And that one cop, if I didn't back up, he was grabbing for his
Yeah,
gun.
grabbing for his gun. I mean, and I live, like I said, I could throw a rock and hit you from where I live. What an embarrassing moment for Rockwall County.
These are, you know, and the smile on her face, she's, I'm sorry, you're purely evil when you're, yeah. You act like this, your acts are evil. It doesn't matter how much you smile and act like you're polite. You know, people, I used to be nice to them all the time. Now you guys see me cussing them out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because, well, what good has it done?
No.
Have I ever gotten anywhere by going through their process, doing things the right way, being nice, being polite? No, never gotten anywhere.
So what's the next step now for?
The next step I won't be a part of. I really won't. But, I mean, when there is no law and order, and the people who are supposed to make law and order refuse to allow there to be law and order, there is only chaos. And God damn it, I'm telling you that there will be chaos and that there will be tears shed by them when it does happen. By both sides, honestly. That's what really happens. A lot of innocent people get hurt as well as a lot of bad people.
You know,
And I'm not saying I'm going to be any part of that.